There are studies out there that show that obstructive sleep apnea causes a number of problems, and 10% of the population has this. So it causes high blood pressure, causes weight gain, it causes diabetes, and then it goes on to cause heart failure, strokes, heart attacks, causes depression, causes infertility. It causes an awful lot of problems. And tragically, at least 80% of people have no idea, blissfully unaware that they have a problem at all. And so what I want to do in this video is explain some of the sort of the key signs for obstructive sleep apnea, just to make sure that you're not one of those 80% of people who had no idea that they've got a problem. The first thing is that you'll probably be snoring very loudly. And people may snore very loudly, have no other symptoms. But if you snore so loudly that you could be heard through a closed door, you're very likely to have obstructive sleep apnea. And so look at your sleep study when you get it done on the NHS. And I've got a video which explains how to look at your sleep study more carefully, because a lot of people miss just by looking at the AHI, which isn't enough. So get a good quality sleep study and get it looked at properly, and even interpret it yourself, which is what that video is all about. The other thing to think about is that some people, they're going for to pass water at night, and that is very common. Maybe, some people think, "Oh, it's just my prostate is playing up," or, "I've had problems since I had a baby," or, "I've drank too much alcohol or water before I went to bed." It may well be that it's connected to that snoring that you have, and you may be getting something known as obstructive sleep apnea, which is causing you to have these problems. The the obstructive sleep apnea interrupts your sleep at night, so it sort of partly wakes you up. So there's a hormone that stops you from weeing at night. Otherwise, you're constantly going for a toilet break, so it interrupts your sleep. So this hormone stops you from weeing at night. But if your body is sort of convinced that you're waking up repeatedly through the night because of obstructive sleep apnea, even though you're unaware of it completely, and even the person watching you is unaware that you're waking up, the fact that you're partly woken up, your brain is sort of thinking, "Oh, well, he's woken up. Let's just release this hormone and start filling up the bladder." Then you fall back to sleep again. The body's constantly tricked. And then eventually your bladder fills up with urine and you have to go and wake up. And you think, "Oh, I keep waking up because of this, me having to pass water." But it's actually the sleep apnea, the snoring, that's causing that problem. Another thing that can point towards obstructive sleep apnea is waking up with a headache in the morning. And some people say, "Oh, it's because, I haven't had enough sleep," or whatever reason, and they end up taking a paracetamol in the morning. Be careful of taking the paracetamol in the morning, because paracetamol, if you take that chronically, can cause headaches as well. But we think that the morning headache caused by sleep apnea is because you haven't got enough oxygen in your body, you haven't got enough carbon dioxide blown off at night, and therefore people wake up sort of starved of oxygen. And then for the first hour or so of the day, they've got this terrible headache and they need to sort of get around the house, and eventually it passes. So if you're getting this problem, it may be because of obstructive sleep apnea. The other thing is that people wake up tired and unrefreshed after a night of sleep, and they have to go straight for a coffee to wake up. It's not a good idea to do that. You should be, after sort of 7, 8 hours of sleep, feeling great in the morning, having slept all that time. You won't need a coffee just to wake up in the morning. There's no need for that sort of thing. That's not normal. So have a think about your sort of, your lifestyle. Is there a chance that that coffee in the morning is just not a, habit thing, and you've learned that you have to deal with coffee? Actually, you're not getting great sleep, and the snoring or whatever problems you're having may be tied into having obstructive sleep apnea, meaning that your sleep quality isn't good, and therefore you need the coffee just to get you through the day. Some people say that if you're needing a coffee before 11 o'clock in the morning, there's got to be something going on. Another thing to think about is that you might be gaining weight just insidiously over the years, and it may be that you're just eating more or more stressed and all those other things. But it may simply be that you've got obstructive sleep apnea because it makes you gain weight. In the old days, we used to think that you gained weight and therefore you got sleep apnea, but actually it's the other way around. It's actually the sleep apnea that makes you gain weight. And, it can happen the other way around, but it's really important to understand that in most cases, it seems it's the weight gain that sort of is fueled by the sleep apnea, not the other way around. I have a video on why people gain weight with sleep apnea. I'll put it up here somewhere so you can look at that. So those are the symptoms you should be looking out for that may suggest that you have obstructive sleep apnea. But if you want to know a little bit more detail, you could try a questionnaire. There's something called the STOP Bang questionnaire. You can go to their website and fill out the sort of 8 questions, and it will tell you what the risk of you having obstructive sleep apnea is. It will give you low, intermediate, high risk of sleep apnea. Or I've got these questionnaires as well on my website. There's a bunch of questionnaires you can fill out, which will give you more detail about that as well. Another thing to do would be to do a sleep study. A sleep study is basically a machine that you wear at night or on your arm, depending on the quality of the sleep study. And it tells you what are the chances that you might have obstructive sleep apnea. It's used to diagnose it in the first place. So there's sort of very basic sleep studies like a pulse oximeter or a watch pat device. And then there's slightly more advanced ones like the NOx T3 or the NOx T3S now, and even more advanced ones like the SMED, which is more for parasomnias and all those other things, sleepwalking, sleep talking, and things like that. So actually the reliability, the resolution, the accuracy of these sleep studies, there's a difference in those. But think about those things. But that will tell you if you have sleep apnea or not. I personally like doing another test on top, which some of you people who've been watching my channel for a long time will know about. Is something known as a drug-induced sleep endoscopy. Because although it tells me how bad someone is doing a sleep study, it doesn't tell me why they have a sleep problem. They don't tell me why they're snoring or why they have obstructive sleep apnea, what part of their throat is blocking their breathing. I don't know. So the way to do it is to get them to lie down on the bed. We give them a touch of sedation, enough, very short acting, so that they fall asleep in front of us. And when they're sleeping in front of me and they're snoring away in the operating theatre, then I go, right, let's get a telescope in there. Let's see what's going on in the back of their throat and look to see what's there and see where the blockage is, where the obstruction is, which tissues are vibrating around. So I know actually snoring is coming from there, the blockage is coming from here and here. Here are the sort of 4 different areas that we need to deal with to fix this person's snoring, obstructive sleep apnea. I know how aggressive I need to be because I've done the sleep study. I know it's quite bad or not too bad. And so these 2 things put together will give me a way to plan out a treatment for my patients. I go, right, you're this bad, you've got these problems, you need to see a cardiologist and you need to see an endocrinologist, you need to see someone to deal with your menopause, all sorts of things. And in terms of my side of things, you need to get your tonsils removed or deal with the tongue base or the lateropharyngeal, whatever I find. I'll talk you through it so we can see from the sleep study and the drug-induced sleep endoscopy where I'm watching you sleep, we can figure out a plan to get this fixed for you. So don't think, oh, look, I can't get this sorted out. I can't believe I've got to keep it quiet because I like to drive. I'm worried that the DVLA will take my license, and hopefully I can just keep this going. I don't want to get. I don't tell everyone at work, or they won't promote me. And why not just get it fixed rather than letting these things escalate? It becomes harder and harder to fix these problems. The worse it gets, and the more side effects, and the depression and the weight gain, all those things makes it harder and harder to fix. Get it sorted out earlier on. We fix this on the NHS now. There are loads of things available, from the CPAP device, or mandibular advancement device, a gum shield, surgery, implants, and there are drugs to help you lose weight, all sorts of things that we can do. There's loads of things that on my YouTube channel that will help you get some help with tongue retaining devices and EPAP devices, which are little things that go in your nose, and there's all sorts of things that could help you. So look at my YouTube channel and hopefully it'll help you. So don't feel that you're in the dark or no one can help you. I should also plug the Hope to Sleep charity, which runs a forum on Facebook. You can get a community of people around you that will help you through this phase as well. So it's very disorientating. You feel a bit lost at the start because there's so many different options. I'm hoping that you'll be able to get these people to help you because they're really nice people in that community. They can help you navigate your way through all of this and get the right treatment as quickly as possible so it doesn't become a terrible thing and it won't sort of influence your whole life. Anyway, take care. I hope you found that useful. Bye-bye.